And it didn't glitch out. Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rosinski. Walter's back. Hi, Walter.
Hi, Ski.
With all things considered, I mean, where do you like to start? I mean, we can start with SnoCross. So I'm sure you have more experience with than I do being up there in, the Great White North.
Yeah, got a lot of experience with it. I haven't been following it as much as I used to. But
Well, that's because it's on it's on the weird networks that most people don't even have.
I know last month, at the beginning of it, they had the normal, basically like the Daytona of SnoCross in Michigan. They had it up at Lake State Superior in Sault Ste. Marie. That place was packed. They didn't have it last year because of COVID. This year, it was packed.
That's a good thing. The first time I got to see it, but again, FS2. Like most people don't have FS1. A lot of people, let alone FS2. So,
if you have direct TV and you have outdoor channels, you have FS1 and 2.
which means a lot of people probably don't because, well, I completely forgot I had it till I saw it, but it was cool. I see the snowball. I like the snow bike racing. Not why, just
Always
something
cool.
about it. Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah, and it was competitive. Again, it's the first time I actually got to catch it on TV in its entirety. Normally, it's just like a quick highlight show. I'm like, what the hell was that on? But it was good racing. It was different. Again, gives everyone a different perspective on racing. Yeah, it's just like Supercross. I mean, they're digging up ruts, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and you can see those things struggling to get through some of that, which is
Something
amazing.
I'll say about SnoCross and Supercross compared to other series like NASCAR or Auto Club type series like touring cars, GTRs, all that, Indy, all that. They do a lot of R&D for that, but it doesn't necessarily really transfer over to the civilian sector. Whereas in SnoCross and in Supercross, those and GNCC racing for four-wheelers, all that lays it out, and they do all their R&D, and then it transfers right back into the general population stuff. That's why you can go down today to whatever that place is there. I think it's Lejeune Motorsports there.
Yep.
You can go down there right now and buy a race-ready Polaris Ranger or Polaris Razor. I mean,
You can.
Surprisingly. It's amazing how much of that transfers over into the general population's ability to purchase.
Yep. This is a good thing about it, though, because they translate very, very well.
There's anything slightly safety related in those series, within a year or two of that initial find and the R&D is done with them series, it's usually transferred over into the general outdoor power equipment purchases.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And that makes it better for everybody. And a lot of other series don't have, again, the translation between the two. I guess the best way to put it, where they go from one, they don't translate over very well. Like any of the stuff we do with any stock cars, none of that translates over to anything.
If it did, we would have a hell of a lot less injuries when it comes to car accidents because there would be a lot more 5-point harnesses installed from the factory. Fact.
Yeah, absolute fact. It's just put the cheaper belt in there, get it over with. Yada, yada, yada.
Taylor and I've had the conversation. Should we potentially debate buying aftermarket seats through Lane Automotive and buy a little bit more of a performance seat and be able to put actual 5-point harnesses in there when the kids get older? Something I think about all the time because Brantley, ever since he got in that accident last summer, if he's not in a 5-point harness, he trips out if it's more than walking speed or a bicycle.
I respect that. Trust. Been there. I get that. Supercross was good too. You said you finally got to catch it. I mean, I like the races. James Stewart looked like he was going to punch Jordan Anderson in the face during the first race of the 450s. But Anderson made a good comeback for the day. I mean, it was good racing. Just there were so many wrecks out front that there were races where the leader was out by like a year. They didn't even have to worry about it. But there's a lot of good stuff, and I love seeing the 12 minutes plus one lap because just go. See you later.
Tell you something in the Supercross series without like NASCAR, you don't have the cautions like you do in NASCAR. So unless something catastrophic happens during a race, you got to be on top of it out of the fucking gate drop. I did it again.
Whatever.
Right out of the gate drop. Don't
worry. Even when I don't cuss, Google goes and throws an E next to it for, explicit content. Even when I don't cuss, I don't feel bad. Doesn't matter what I do. Google's all over it.
But usually what happens is now, like you referred to Bubba there, Bubba Stewart, when he was younger, his first 5 or 6 seasons, he was so aggressive. Even if he didn't get the whole shot, he was usually out in front within the first lap and a half. No matter what, unless something stupid happened at the gate drops and he got shoved down or pushed on the outside or something like that. Otherwise, but when he would get out in front of him, the only guys that ever really gave him his run for his money were Reed and Carmichael. And every once in a while,
run for their money.
Every once in a while, what was his name? Tony Dungy. No, Ryan Dungy.
Yeah,
Ryan
Tony
Dungy.
was a football coach. Yeah. I was just gonna let you go.
Yeah. Anyways, Ryan Dungy, he used to give him his run for his money too. But when they one of them guys, when they get out in front, if they're the only ones that could usually catch one of them is one of those few guys. It was hard for people to run with it, and that's the same still. Just obviously, you didn't see it out of Bubba because he's not in the same mindset he used to be. But
hey, he's gotten older. I mean, he's not hell bent for leather. He was pissed when he got wrecked, but
also I think it was his 7th season when he had that injury. That was a bad injury. It took him out hard.
It does change people.
Yeah. Ever since then, he's mentally been different. In my opinion, it's my opinion. I'm not quoting anyone on that.
Injuries in racing, man. Injuries in racing. They change you.
Look at Dale Jr.
I mean, that
he got to a certain age and he's like, look, I'm done. I got a family, man. Want to enjoy life.
He did that. There's a flip side, like, Kyle Busch, when he broke his leg.
Very few people do that.
Hey, he had the nuts. He had the intestinal fortitude to know that it was the time.
Some people like Kenny Schrader and me, we're just stupid. You're going to go until you physically can't do it no more.
I mean, what was Dale Jr.'s exact words one of his last couple of years when he bought the golf simulator for his house? He went, now I got 2 really expensive habits and I suck at both of them. Hobbies. There you go. Now, yep, you should probably stop then. I think.
Yep.
But there's the flip side, like Kyle Busch when he broke his leg and his foot at that was a bad wreck at Daytona, and then he came back and just killed everybody. Like he was mad at the world.
I don't think I think Bubba Stewart never came back the same again. I honestly don't believe he ever fully healed the same. I honestly don't think even after he was 100% healed for the doctors, physically, I don't think he was the same inside and he couldn't race the same anymore. I physically believe that. And it changed him. I really do. And I know that probably sounds stupid or morbid,
but it's a different series too. I mean, those ones, like your body is on the line. One person gets into you. Yeah. One bad wreck that you don't even cause, it could turn pretty catastrophic with that many bikes right there. And,
that's why you see very few privateers in that industry that ever do things like in a hasty manner when it comes to repairing their own equipment, because they know if they mess a finger or a thumb up, they're probably not going to be able to race. And if they do race, it's going to hinder what they really can do.
Yep.
Or a toe. You don't want to fuck a toe or screw a toe up and then have to go.
We already broke the 4th wall. That's not, I mean, and again, if it was in like a different sport, I could see, roll cages and all that. When it's all you, I mean, that does have to physically change everything. Especially, you had to be trying to come back. I mean, like your body's going to feel that. every single time every time over a small jump, a big jump.
Well, not just that, you got to think he injured his internals in his stomach area. You know, I mean, when you injure those take more of a beating next to your arms than anything else on your body when you're racing Supercross. Your abdomen area takes everything.
Don't worry, it's like when I broke my pelvis. You'd be surprised how much that area of your body actually, and I'm not going out of my way to take, a million bumps a day.
And everybody thinks that the whoops are nothing too, unless they've either one, watched that series their whole life, or two, have ridden and been on whoops themselves. And it's like, oh, then you realize, wait a minute, this ain't no joke. Very few people can run whoops like Bubba Stewart. Let me be honest about that too, since we talked about him. Him and whoops. Ooh, that man is.
He was still looking good at
He's
that race in
on
Dallas.
the line of losing it 24. Everybody talked about Kyle Larson and Walls. Oh no. Bubba Stewart, when it came to whoops, it was crazy. Every time in every race, he would just lean back and give it everything. It's like, and a few times it bit him. It bit him in the butt completely clean on that one. Because I seen him fifth or sixth whoop, and all of a sudden, there goes his bike, but not him. I mean, I've seen it.
It's a price you pay.
And that's one series where you can see the best of the best still get in an accident or get hurt all by themselves, because it's physically 100%.
It's physically a beating. And I mean, they talk about other racing where the track changed. You got to change it. I mean, that one, you're literally getting like giant ruts and edges and you can do everything perfect. You can do everything perfectly fine, and the dirt still lays funny through, let's say, a whoop. I mean, there could be a little flat part in there. I mean, the whole thing will skid out on you. I mean, it's very, very much more technical and athletic than, which is why though you
have to know your soils too. Like you have to be able, when you're riding, you have to be able to, one, look at the soil and know exactly what type of soil you're getting ready to hit, and two, you got to know by looking at it what kind of moisture level you're talking about too, because that changes the way the soil moves.
Yep.
You're on sand dry is one thing. Sand wet's a whole nother world.
It is.
One's grip, one's none.
It's definitely a good sport. Yeah, very technical, very underrated, and it was on CNBC. Who that?
Yeah,
I forgot CNBC. I was on FS1. Okay, what? I'm not. And suddenly I'm going through looking for CNBC. I forgot CNBC was a thing. I know. I thought it was CNBC.
And I also think when guys that are racing in NASCAR come from the lower series and they race in series like Supercross, GNCC racing, or mini sprints, guys that come from those groups are a way different type of driver too. Look at Kevin Harvick, look at Clint Boyer, look at Chase Briscoe. They can hit the walls and completely wreck their car, and they shouldn't be walking okay. They get out, and the only thing that's problem is whether or not they're going to break their helmet when they slam it against their car because they're so pissed off. You can tell who's ridden in those series because they show it on the track. Like Kevin Harvick, he gets wrecked, he gets out, because he ain't hurting. He's slamming stuff. He's breaking. I've seen that wreck with Chase Elliott. He destroyed his comm on that helmet, completely destroyed it on that helmet, because he didn't even get it completely, just ripped the plugs, everything completely apart. I'm like, I looked at Brantley, I went, that just ruined the $5,000 comm system on that helmet.
It's like, hey, at least we don't have to worry about him saying anything bad on the radio. Right. He just broke that. He just really broke that.
I have to say, Kevin Harvick is no Clint Boyer. He don't put no humor with it. When he's mad, he just says what he thinks, and it's not good.
Well, that's why, him, Clint, Tony, they were just meant to, how Eric Almirola fit into that, I'll never understand. But he's like the nice guy. The rest of these guys are just, they're going to let you know.
Maybe that's why Tony Stewart's kept him so long, is because he's the nice face of Stewart-Haas Racing.
He's the calm face. But now he's got Chase Briscoe. He's okay. What, I can retire after this year.
I've seen Chase Briscoe mad.
Oh, so have I, but compared to the other ones that he's had drive for him.
Watch what happens when somebody wrecks him in the mini sprints. Those are fun. Or the U-stacks,
which I think are violently underrated. You never get to see them on TV, which is,
Well, that goes back to what we talked about last week. Start opening more smaller tracks, revamping these ones that are already in existence. Believe it or not, and you're going to make fun of me, but because I'm a slightly rebellious child when I was younger.
Oh.
Used to go there all the time and ride the dirt bikes and the four-wheelers and test them out after we do stuff, like if we built motors and stuff. Jackson Speedway, the old Jackson Speedway, where they race stock cars, is still intact. I mean, there's some cracks, but they're still flat. Everything is still intact and level. And it ain't been used since the 70s. Which
is mesmerizing.
So Jesse and I, we always go out there and that's where we did all of our test and tune, all of our testing at the engine build. We did it all right there. I'm sure people hated our guts because when we were out there, I know it sounded like a racetrack because none of our stuff that we built like that was quiet, and it was definitely built for racing.
Hey, these things happen. As you're talking about tracks, before we get to talking about the track holding up, I do want to mention, the Firestone GP there in St. Pete. Good showing, and it was good to see Jimmy look more comfortable behind the wheel of an IndyCar. Only guy one lap down. Who cares if he was 23rd? He was the only person one lap down. He sure made the leader work for it. Granted, the leader was also, not his teammate who was in second, and Jimmy sure went out of his way to hold the leader up. That gap went from about this to that. But good racing. It was good to see Jimmy. He suddenly his car got 35 feet wide. Couldn't get by him no matter what the hell you did. Good old Newman. Somehow he doesn't have a ride. Ty Dillon does. That's still, I'll never understand that one. Ty has literally done nothing except close a race team.
You said it, not me.
That's it. But if we're going to talk about it, might as well move tracks. At least, as you're saying, Jackson held up better than Auto Club with their bumps. And remember, they ground down the bumps before the race.
Oh, yeah.
It sure looked like it. What? I don't need a chiropractor. One lap. Never mind.
All I can say for the whole weekend last week was cautions, cautions, cautions.
It's the usual thing there. At least it kept the racing good because they didn't get to get all strung out like they normally do. Because, Jesus, they hit 20 laps. Now, this is the longest run we've had all day. Okie dokie then. It was a shame to see Reddick go out the way he did because he was dominating, but it's just an Auto Club thing, man. That track is always between the surface, looking like they're, in a bounce house going down the back straightaway. Plus, here's how much NASCAR says your tire pressure should be compared to how low they actually probably run it in there, which is causing all that flex, which is causing all those flexion on those tires, which is why tires blow out every 9 seconds there. And, it's the way it is. Crystal texts me the whole time, they need to fix this tire thing. It's no, they just need to blow up the track.
All right. Well, 2 things from last week. One, Custer not only won in third overtime, but he's the only active former winner at that track in the Xfinity Series. Just putting that out there.
Hey, he looked good.
And then
he looked real good.
Then for the Cup Series last weekend, good old Larson, man. Anyways, Larson, that made me happy.
See all the griping he got though? That was one thing I wanted to talk about. Everyone up on him for what he did to Chase. Him moving up on him, Hendrick Motorsports, they're not going out there to wreck one another.
No.
The way he moved up the track, it looked like he was just trying to get his angle there. Yeah, you don't come up that fast on someone if you
Tyler Reddick. That's another one last weekend. That was
One for that tire.
Yeah.
What one for that damn
Well,
tire?
that goes into my next.
And he was making it until Byron somehow came around the top of the track and blew him to pieces. Like, I still don't understand that one, but yeah.
Well, that was my other thing. Was speaking of tires, what the fuck was up with the lug nut? There we go. What was up with the lug nut stuff last weekend?
Tell you, it's throwing everyone off.
What is up with the lug nuts?
You know, like everything was working perfectly fine. We're going to switch to one. Yeah, now we're actually having real problems.
Yup. Oh, yeah. Also, number 38. What's the guy's name who drives it?
Todd Gilliland, I think.
Yeah, Todd Gilliland. His crew chief, his jackman, and his front tire man got suspended for 4 races.
There's the tire stuff. There you go. You did so good. Your whole team's gone.
Yeah.
But all the gripe that, and I'm still on the Kyle Larson thing. Like Kyle getting his head taken off, even by the Dawsonville, pool hall with their, siren going off, like going after, Kyle for wrecking him. Like, I don't know if anyone else was watching, but earlier in the race, you can clear as day see Chase put Bowman right into a wall doing the same thing, except you could, no one says that. I probably would, no, just go after Kyle, wrecking people to win. Like, I don't know if you, you might have got the run on him there.
I think to a degree, you're just going to have people forever that's going to hate Kyle Larson. I think we're just going to have to deal with that.
And Chase Elliott, he gets his head taken off like every 5 seconds. I don't get it. I think he's talented. I mean,
well, I don't mean
guy
to be
won.
rude, but Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, like when the Kevin Harvick's and the Kyle Busch's retired, those two are going to be right there. Like,
and again, it was a racing incident to me. I just love how they jumped all over. Kyle. Like, it's funny how you guys didn't say anything when you put Bowman into a wall. Amazing. And then Chase cutting down the track on him when Kyle tried to go by him to lap him. Ran Kyle all the way down to the edge of the grass.
I think it was. I think part of all that, though, truthfully, to a degree, does go into the fact that these are new cars. I think it was Chase Briscoe that actually was the one that said, these are still new cars. It's anyone's game right now.
And I mean, they proved that, like all the different teams in the top 10 at Daytona. I mean, that happens, Rex. But to have a race at Auto Club, 9 teams in the top 10. I mean, there's only a few guys that wrecked. I mean, it was good. It was good. I liked seeing Austin Dillon up there because I still think he's better than his brother. It was nice to see Suarez up there, Eric Jones up there racing like the whole race in the top 2 or 3. Like, it was really good to see all those teams actually running good. And it was amazing to see where Eric Jones' teammate was. No one knows. Ty Dillon's been missing for a couple of years.
Yeah. Not worth worrying about that one.
Look how, it was good to see so many cars competitive. Because again, we didn't have that for forever. I mean, there'd be like 300 cars, 3 Gibbs cars, 2 Stuart Haas, and then some random dude up there. Like, it was very
the random dude was usually teams. Matty D, but
well,
or Michael McDowell. He was always up there too.
Yeah, he's got a few. He got more top 10s last year. Never, I think. Yeah. So I mean,
he's talented too. I don't care what anyone says. Them guys are more talented than what they get credit for. Let's just put it.
Yeah, they're just driving inferior equipment. So I mean,
and still competing
because they don't have the big dollars of Gibbs or Hendrick or any of that.
We won't go into the Matty D conversation.
All right, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. Now that's all over. We're gonna have to. But I thought it was good racing because of all the cautions and all that. But it's just everyone just get off. Just lay off. Okay, just what racing incidents happen. They're new cars. It was the first time on that track at all with the new cars.
Yeah, it's not like everybody in the series has been racing the same series of cars for the last 2 seasons, and they're just coming down on you because they're idiots. No.
This is the second race after we come off of Daytona. So it's actually like the first real race.
Exactly.
And there are people like Harvick wrecked a car, which, by the way, the new car, I do have to give him credit for that, for how much he destroyed that car, for them to actually be able to just rebuild it, rewrap it, and use the same primary car. That's a good sign for the cars. Because I mean, he ate that wall and they
Yeah.
put it all back together. That's at least a good sign for the car that it's durable and they don't have to waste as much everything trying to get everything back together. So there's a positive for that because he ate that thing. And how fast they're going at Auto Club. He ate that wall.
Hey,
Ate
I
it.
can give credit on that. When he wrecks it, he wrecks it.
Hey, checkers are wreckers.
There's
Thankfully,
no in-betweeners for him.
thankfully, the car holds up to a little more wreckers. But, you know, the car looked good. And then this weekend, you know, I don't even know what to expect over at Vegas just because, again, it's the first time they're ever hitting one of these tracks. Like, so far, we really don't have any good data on any of it because we went from the LA Coliseum
Well,
to
for
Daytona
the trucks,
to Auto Club. Then we're going to Vegas. And then next week, we're in Phoenix. And none of these tracks have anything in common at all.
I feel like you got 7 guys to watch for in trucks this weekend. 1, Matt Craft.
Oh, yeah.
Most of
Always.
2, Austin Hill. There'll be something to see. Johnny Sauter, Christian Eckes.
Does Austin Hill have a ride down there now that he got the Xfinity ride? He does?
Yeah. Brent Enfinger.
Oh, yeah. Grant Enfinger's always up there.
Is it Dustin? What's his name? No. Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes. And then, obviously, the normal, definitely pay attention to him. Don't ever count him out. John Hunter Nemechek.
John Hunter's a freak. And he was just part of those many, many years where Cup teams were just screwing people.
Yeah.
They'd kill it in the trucks. They'd kill the Xfinity. They'd pull him up to the 38 car. They'd run 1 year, blame it all on him. And then the person would be looking for a ride. I think he should have stayed with KBM because look what he's doing again now that he's down there with KBM. And as much as everyone hates Kyle Busch, he's given a lot of guys a lot of opportunities that have been a lot of shafted.
He's been the only one in a Toyota racing series for coming up. Or sorry, Toyota Racing Development Program. He's been the only one that's gave true ride options. I don't like what Gibbs has done at all. And the way him and couple other teams have done it with Toyota, they really screwed a lot of drivers over, as you've heard people like Tony Stewart say in the past. Toyota Racing Program is not good. The way it's designed, it takes a lot of talented drivers and pulls them out of the picture.
Yeah, like Suarez. I mean, don't know how you feel about him still at this point, but he went from never racing an oval track. 3 years later, he's Xfinity Series champion. Carl's like, hey, I'm out. Like, hey, what? You're hired. Without anything, just to hold on to the ride for a year. And, you know, then he went over to Stuart Haas, who literally, Tony was just holding on to him for 1 year. But Gibbs did this back with Joey Logano. Tony's like, I'm out. Oh, cool. What? You're hired. Wasn't ready for it. Wasn't prepared. Didn't have enough anything. And hey, what? Ready, go. And look at him now when he left them. Like there's, you know, and again, it's all coming from that TRD.
So I'm saying Tony Stewart gave him a chance. I feel like when he got Tony Stewart, a little bit better equipment, better ride.
At least back then.
I mean, I'm that's what I'm saying. When he came to Tony Stewart, I feel like at that time he was in a good spot to learn from there.
Yeah, he was just a seat
filler.
Before
we get too ahead of myself here, I'm gonna pull for Matty D first and foremost for that truck race.
Oh, without a doubt, he's on. No, he's the one name I wrote that I typed up here, Matty D. Yeah, he's another one of those. I mean, he had garbage. Then he drove whatever the 95 car. It's like, sorry, wait, you're just here. What? So Christopher Bell can come up. Then he went over to the Wood Brothers, and like, well, yeah, sorry, what we're you get 1 more year. Why? Because you know, Cindric isn't ready yet. Like Brad's leaving. Well, there's a chance. Like, no, we're gonna pull up Harrison Burton while you're still screwed. Like, thanks for making us better. See you later. Bye. Want to know why Harrison Burton got a ride? Because, well, let's go with that last name, Burton. Because
I will say, I mean, because of the way it looks right now, it probably won't happen this way, but there will be an opening at Stewart Haas Racing after this season.
Yeah. They don't have any, I mean, they'd be dumb to pull up Herbst.
It'd be nice to see a certain someone possibly come back from the Truck Series. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, driving good equipment, and they look good so far. They even had 2 guys up there in the top 10. I mean, Harvick drove through the field to get up there. I mean, Almirola was up there till he had to. I mean, he came back after having like they looked better, but again, it's only the second race. But Matty D, like I'm pulling for Matty D, and I'm pulling for Haley just because they're doing her right so far. So hopefully she stays down there again. But I'm always hoping just to see Haley Deegan do better, so we don't go and ruin another female driver by throwing her to the wolves when she's not ready.
She can get Bush to sponsor her in some form, not necessarily obviously as a primary, because she'd be stupid to walk away from Monster. That's just my personal opinion. But I hope this campaign and this push by Bush Light to get females more involved in NASCAR doesn't get swept under the rug like previous programs in NASCAR.
Like, I mean, except for it was good to see. I'm like, look at all these young people. Oh, look, there's Jennifer Jo Cobb. Woo! No offense to her, but like, I cheered her on when I was at Darlington, going, wait. There she goes. She's like the rhinoceros or hippo, whatever the hell it was, at the end of the Stampede and Jumanji with Robin Williams in there all those years ago, just huffing and puffing, trying to get through. Hopefully it helps her out because she's been there for forever. But hoping to, Matty D, Haley. It's good to see Ben Rhodes and all them now have, chance. John Hunter deserved to, I'm sorry, he never should have got called up. He was just in that long line, and Harrison Burton could fall into that category too, where he just wasn't ready, but they pulled him up anyway, even though they had a guy that was completely ready.
I think it's people jumping the gun. I think that.
And money probably is part of it too.
I think, yeah. But I also think, what I was going to get at was the degree of thinking like the mentality of like the older guys like Kevin Harvick, to a degree, Kyle Busch. I don't think there's many other guys left now in that series that I would put in that category that thought like Dale Sr. Like, wait a minute, let's think ahead on this one here. The guy's young. Like
young.
Next year, he could be a completely different person. His mind could change. He might not drive like he does this year. Let's hold on a year. I think that mentality is gone in racing as far as NASCAR goes, and that's not good. You got programs to develop drivers, developmental programs. Stick them in there for a few years. Let them develop.
I think the key word is Toyota Racing development. Don't just develop them for 1 year and say, what, you're ready. And they're like, oh, well, you suck. What? So you're going back down. Try to figure it out. See you later. And they just move on like nothing. Just see you bye. And they have a lot of, they do that. They do that a lot. But I think, obviously Grant Enfinger is always good. We all know Matt Crafton. Can't believe Johnny Sauter's still always bouncing around from rides. I'll never understand that because Johnny Sauter's still like, he just won the title, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah. Well, the 6 that I listed, not the 7th, Matty D, but the other 6, those are the previous history data proven. Like, those are the drivers you definitely want to keep your eye on.
Matty D.
But I have every bit of faith in Matty D.
And he's not even driving for a really bad team. It's just, he hasn't driven a truck ever. I think he did for 5 minutes. Straight from trucks.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
A hot minute. I think he'll get it going. It's just, hell, you never know. He could still just be in shock or pissed off at the world, as calm as he is. Be like, what? I don't
know if you'll ever really see the angry side of him. I don't feel like he shows that. I mean, you might see the emotional or the happy side of him, but you don't just see the angry side.
I'd love to see his face and like, hey, what? The big announcement with Keselowski. I've bought into, Roush Fenway. It's now Roush Fenway Keselowski. I'm going to drive the 6 car. He's going, yeah. I'm like, we're bringing up Harrison Burton. I'd love to be wherever, like, they're telling.
I'll be honest. No offense to the Burtons, I don't think Harrison Burton deserves that more than him.
And he only drove down the Xfinity Series like 1 year, and I don't think he had a full like, and he didn't like go out there and like shock and awe people. Like Byron when he got signed and went through the series, shock and awe. Chase Elliott, shock and awe. Reddick winning everything in his path. Harrison Burton. And I'm pretty sure he was out there during all those years with Cindric and Briscoe when they were just winning everything. Yeah, and he was there last year. Guess what? I mean, I'm sure he might have won, but I mean, Ty Gibbs came out in his first ever start at the Daytona Road Course and won the race. I mean, now there's talent there. God knows they're going to pull him up way too early. But it's okay if they pull him up way too early and he flounders. Why? Because his last name is Gibbs. So they're not going to fire him at all.
Yep, that ain't no lie.
I think he's talented. I mean, he won a bunch of races. I mean, that's talent right there. You know, Harrison Burton, I'm sorry, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And he wasn't ready. But yet, our boy Matty D, hey, he found a way. He kept smiling. I just wish I could have been there when they told him. Like whether it was over Zoom, in person. Like, hey, what? Yeah, we're still letting you go. Just get up and just a long line of profanity as I get up and leave.
Exactly.
Throwing shit. You what the flip the desk on the guy. Like, so I'm making us better, and you're firing me for because his last name. Thanks, guys. Because the key's only what 20. Harrison,
yeah, I'm still pretty sorry about the whole Woods direction towards that.
Like it's not like you're finally somewhat getting better. Somewhat.
I mean honestly, outside of Trevor Bayne and that win at Daytona.
7 years to the day, we got to see a guy winning his second start ever in his first 500. And the 2-car finally won a 500. That never happened before either. So lots of good stuff. But outside of that, I mean, Blaney was good. Blaney got him into victory lane. I didn't like Paul Menard at all. Like I never understood why they like. There's another one of those guys. Like what the hell did he ever actually do? No offense to him, but he was there for a very long time.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you is he was just a miserable, disgruntled human being almost every
you know
time
why
they
he
put
was
a
there
microphone.
for so long? You want me to tell you the truth?
Menards?
I already know why. Because his uncle owned Menards.
Yeah, sorry, Menards. He brought the money. They were going to pay him regardless.
Exactly. They
like,
funded that corporation for a while.
Oh, you're okay. Oh, okay. Everyone else has all these different sponsors coming in and out. What's he driving? Menards. What else? Menards. I mean, still had Quick Lube.
I remember correctly. He only had 5 or 6 sponsors.
Yeah.
So
that was, I mean,
putting that into perspective.
And Quick Lube was already there with the Wood brothers. They're always there with the Wood Motorcraft, all that. That was there. But Menards and
as I'm saying, Paul Menard himself, I think, only had 5 or 6. Like his own personal sponsorship. I think he only had 5 or 6.
How many of them was he related to?
I'm not going to say they weren't probably substantially beneficial when it came to money, but
how many of them was he related to? Well, and I thought that was a step back for Wood Brothers. Matty D finally got him going in the right direction. I mean, we saw Matty D in interviews last year. We saw the slightly unhappy thing. When they started listening to me, well, we started doing better. We were rattling off all kinds of stuff. Yeah, then they fired you. Well, how does that make you feel? What, they finally listened to you? There's a reason that they haven't won forever. I mean, they got the Penske backing.
Dude, Paul Menard ruined that team. I personally believe that. I know there's people that I know personally that are going to be butthurt that I say that. But I
don't think that he brought anything to them except that sponsorship. I only remember ever seeing him win one race, ever, and that was Road America in the Xfinity Series. I'm like, cool, you can win there. I haven't won anywhere else. Don't remember you winning anything else, ever.
Exactly.
I mean,
who are they sponsoring? They sponsor.
I want to say it's it's the Roush guys, I think. No, they got the Gibbs guys, and they got Brandon Jones down in the
Me.
Xfinity Series. But yeah, as I say, the Xfinity Series. I want to see Austin Hill do good. Ty Gibbs, obviously, Gregson's going to be on the list. Hemrick's going to be on the list. I mean, and he's driving. I mean, he went from good cars with Gibbs to good cars with Colleague. I do want to see what Landon Castle's going to do. Because he literally drove garbage his whole career, and Colleague cars are good. So I'd like to see what he can. I'd like to see what he can do in actual equipment where he's not just running, back there somewhere. I think that'll be really, good. And there's a lot, just Cindric leaving opens the door for so much. Briscoe left. That year was that. I mean, him and Cindric was pretty much like Denny and Kevin in 2020 when they just came back and won everything. Hell or high water, get out of their way. One of them's going to win.
I think this weekend, just for the sake of Stewart Haas, I hope Riley Hurt does something better, doesn't wreck. That'd be cool. But I think
that'd be cool.
Just from prior information, prior data, and history, I think AJ Allmendinger or Barry is the guy to watch.
Oh yeah, AJ Allmendinger, Josh Berry. I mean, even if it's his first time ever on the track, he figures it out fast.
I'm partial to him because of the modified series, but that's just me.
Hey, he could drive in that like he did. He's talented. Sam Mayer, he did another one of those guys did a hell of a job outside of NASCAR, and Junior's like, hey, what? Go.
I think Junior Motorsports this year is going to be their year to shine. Really, really strong.
And I think they've been one of probably the premier developmental team. I mean, that's what they are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're the developmental.
That's where the
guys.
development happens for GM, probably there.
Yeah, because I mean, look, they got Chase Elliott out of there, Byron Bowman got some races. I don't understand what's his name. Yeah, Reddick had some time. I mean, how about that? Tyler Reddick got a championship back-to-back years, driving for two completely different teams. Telling me ain't talented, but
Tyler Reddick is. Anyways,
Michael Annett. I don't understand how Michael Annett got a ride as long as he did. Oh wait, he had Pilot Flying J, and they were going to sponsor him until it's no matter what he did. I think Sam Mayer in that car is a far superior choice. Much more talent. Where is he going to go? I don't know. It's just like Gregson. I mean, where the hell is he really going to go? I mean, how many more years does he have down there? I think he still needs a couple of years just to.
You're referring to Junior Motorsports being developmental for GM. He also, Junior Motorsports has like 8 modified cars in the series.
He's got all.
He really goes to grassroots, picks drivers.
He does it properly.
A good process.
Yeah. If you could drive one of those, fling those around the track, okay, now let's try this. And I'm happy they didn't have a truck team. I don't think they need at least
in modifieds, if you want to know how they'll do on pavement versus dirt, that's real simple because there's 2 different modified series for dirt and pavement. you can see in both cars.
Which is really, really good. I like their development in Colleague, now that they're in the Cup Series. I mean, they're doing good jobs for GM and getting all that drivers out there and where Colleague came from. Look at them now and look at the talent that they have. They're better to me than, again, TRD, because okay, you're ready when they're not ready. And then, they have Brandon Jones who's still there.
Their developmental program could be way better if they'd let, I want to say this, if they would make decisions more in favor of what Tony Stewart says sometimes. If they let him have a little more say in their developmental program as far as guidance or just simple consulting information, and they listen to him, I think their developmental program could change tremendously.
Yeah. He has a better brain. He has a better brain in business. Like, he has an understanding of why he was there.
And he's got the talent to back him up too. Because look at Chase Briscoe. Look at his teams he's got in USAC and sprints. I mean, he's no slouch. He's got his own racing series and industry going in the separate series that he don't even have anything to do with.
Yeah, like I just wish that there's not a lot of Fords down there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like those
In the
two
Xfinity,
could
like
be
that.
those two could be their developmental program and really change the game. But I don't think Ford is aligned with their people like GM is.
Oh, you look at me. And it's amazing how many, like how few Fords there are in the Xfinity series, but then you flip side over to the Cup series and there's what, maybe 6, 7 Toyotas total anymore. Like their numbers have gone, but again, look at all the teams though that have teamed up with them. Look at Furniture Row, that was costing them so much money. Even at the championship, they're like, we're done. Like a lot of teams, like, well, we want to get into the program, and it's just non-sustainable.
Can't. Not with Gibbs fucking. There we go.
It's too late. It's too late.
Not with Gibbs. For the lack of a term, strangleholding the developmental program. I mean, they do. They kind of hold the bar sets for everything.
And they don't let people develop enough. That's their biggest problem. Like Brandon Jones has been down there for forever driving for them. He's still going to be down there forever driving for them because there's nowhere to go. But then they have other people like,
that's the exact point
that they move up like after a year, like here, ready to go, that they bury. Like let people actually fully develop.
It's funny because I've heard Tony Stewart refer to drivers that drive for Junior Motorsports in the lower series and has said if those guys were to touch the Toyota Racing Development Program, they'd be out of the picture and they'd be no good again. They'd be nobodies because they don't get the chances they should.
Nope.
Because of the development process. It bothers me because he made a point and you kind of hit it right there. There's drivers that are really good at grassroots levels and honestly are just as, I'll bring it up in a second. Just remind me about the SRX series with Tony after this. They take drivers and they put them in places and they don't go nowhere. But I feel like if you take this driver and he's doing good here and a little bit lesser equipment than this driver is here and better equipment, swap them two guys. Maybe he needs to develop a little longer, but this guy, and then start moving people where they need to be. That's the only way that works. And they don't do it that way.
Nope.
I don't quite understand the way they do it because obviously I don't work for them, but from what I can see from the outside looking in, it's like guys ain't thinking this through when it comes to selecting people for where they're going.
Nope. I like, oh, what? You were hot last year? Good. What? Ready to go. You're hired.
That's it.
You're promoted. Yeah, they've done it to a lot of people, and he's going to sadly, and people like they develop up Harrison Burton in Toyotas and then move them up to a Ford, and they're just like they did John Henner. They throw him up there, front row. No offense to front row, but I mean, first year in front row, and that equipment, when you go from Gibbs stuff to front row, like there's going to be a drastic change.
That was made of when that whole thing went down with Kyle Larson. That brings up another point about him is they wouldn't let Tony Stewart advocate to get him. They let him advocate for Kyle Larson, but they wouldn't let Tony Stewart influence Kyle Larson coming to Ford because of what he did. But yet you can take a driver that's nowhere near as that talented coming from Toyota, which normally doesn't release anyone because Tony Stewart's made that point before. They don't release anyone. All of a sudden you're okay with them coming over. But I just, sorry, that bothers me.
Yeah, like the whole thing really is, I mean, that's a shame because there's lots of good drivers like down there in the trucks and the ARCA.
If I was the owner of a team in Ford, I'd be like, look, this is veering away from what we are. Like, this is not who we are. You're
burying people. Burying people.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
That's exactly what's happening to Matty D.
Again, Matty D had it happen there so they could get Harrison up there from the Toyota program, but they worked out some deal. I want to
know what it was because what did Ford offer?
Logano, when they called him up way too early, Suarez, when they called they go. Like there's a million people they like just to be a seat holder too, which lowers their stock because you're just literally there until the next young guy is ready, and then they just move you right on, just like in the 95 car. Before Christopher Bell, like he looked really good. Matty D did in that car. It was actually almost won that race at Bristol. I was sitting there the whole time going, wreck 'em. Wreck him. What? It's only Denny. What? He wrecks everyone. Then he blames them. Then
Yeah.
he's confused when everyone's mad at him. Like, well, stop wrecking everyone. People will be less mad. Stop being a crybaby. Tony Stewart's going to tomahawk a helmet at you. You know, just yeah. But they
Yeah.
buried a lot of people. A lot of people. John Hunter was promising. They pulled him up there for 1 year. Well,
Maybe they need more helmet throwing.
at people.
That's what I'm playing. Well, if I remember correctly, every time Tony Stewart threw a helmet, it was directed at somebody, whether it be at them personally or at them in the car. It was directed at them. Minus one time, he did just flat out throw his helmet back in the car. I did see that once.
I
think that might have been here in Michigan.
The famous one at Bristol at the night race.
Oh, well.
Right at it. Doing like direct hit. Good job, Tony.
Oh, speaking of Tony.
I'm gonna beat his ass. Thanks.
Back to the
Thanks,
SRX
Smoke.
series.
Thanks, Smoke. Thank you. Oh, beat his ass. Thanks,
Burnsy. God, I love Burns. I miss that guy.
Thanks, Smoke. Thank you.
Actually, I think his exact words was "No, thank you." That was his exact words, just Burns. But that's because him and Burnsy was the only interviewer that was ever involved with NASCAR that Tony didn't really lose his mind on.
I'm gonna beat his ass. Okay. Summed that one up. Feel about we done what? I'm gonna beat his.
Who won the championship last year for Xfinity Series? I'm brain farting.
Daniel Hemrick.
He's looking to for a win too this year. Don't forget, he hasn't won yet.
And he's driving for he did what he had to do, and Cindric was a crybaby about it. Sorry, but I mean, last lap, last turn, what? Oh, I know he was so mean. I know why, because he was what? You got a chance to drive like you have to win a championship coming off the last turn. Sorry, Austin. He wanted his first career win and also a championship simultaneously. You should have drove it harder. He was coming. Everyone, except for Mark Martin, we'd be bouncing off each other going to that line. Now he's driving for Colleague, which I think is going to be a good move for Hemrick because, again, those cars are fast.
Well, yeah, but that also puts him with who's his teammate now?
The Dinger.
Exactly. Good old Dinger.
And Landon Castle, which hopefully he does good. Just sticking in everyone's face. Like, what? I told you it was the car. Exactly.
And another, they just need to be more involved with ARCA too. That would help their developmental programs. I just thought about that. Sorry.
Oh yeah, but I mean, look at a lot of Gibbs stuff down there too. I mean, look how many a lot of good. Drew Dollar's good, even though he didn't. I mean, there's a lot of young female talent too that's really good. Showed some great hands at Daytona, that one girl.
I'm not gonna lie, I think sometimes ARCA can be more entertaining than some of the higher series. ARCA can definitely be more entertaining than some of the trucker Xfinity races, man.
Those guys are getting it. They don't care. I'm here. Exactly. Damn it, I'm here. But back now as we're on to the Cup Series, let's talk about the SRX thing before I forget.
SRX, because we were talking about developmental programs.
Hell of a program.
Tony Stewart, I don't remember which race it was last summer. He had one of the modified guys on racing from a local track. It was a 6th or 7th race. Anyways, he smoked everybody. You had the best drivers from all the different series out there running with him, and they could not contend. And I remember distinctively after that race, Tony saying, I did this series and I have a hometown race hero every single weekend because those drivers are better than a lot of the professionals today. Yeah. Those guys need their recognition. Those guys are racing for everything.
Deserve it. They deserve it.
And it was funny because Paul Tracy's a damn good driver. He is a damn good driver. He can be hot-headed, but he's a damn good driver. And even he said that race that I was referring to, that kid was hot.
Yeah, that's what Matty D needs. You need to get that killer instinct. Look at all the greatest drivers. Most of them were all psychos. no matter what series it is.
Well, even Mario Andretti said he was like Mario Andretti is not Mario, Marco Andretti.
There's
is
enough
good.
of them.
And for him to say what he said in reference to pretty much the same thing as Paul Tracy, it was like there was no catching that kid. Every time that something would happen, if he got the slightest bit of an inch, he was gone.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up because it's little series like that go and show those guys, and they can come out there and drive with champions from damn near every series. It's like that's, and if not beat him like he did.
And it gives, again, more opportunities. Newman's going to be riding in there. And look, I mean, it came from the minds of Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham.
You're bringing Newman into the picture. It'll only get safer.
Don't put Newman up front. Newman will win every race. Start on the pole. No one will get by you. Ever.
That's no joke.
Well, his car suddenly gets this wide.
You might see a completely different Ryan Newman in that series, though.
I don't know. He lost his cup ride. He's sitting there every day.
He's still working with them.
Yeah. Every year, every single day, though, he's sitting there looking at Ty Dillon in a car going.
Yeah.
Or Bubba. As we're on the cup side, look who couldn't get out of the top 20. Couldn't barely crack the top 20. I think he might have got 19th in the first two stages, and then caused a giant wreck and took out Brad and Harrison Burton and Cindric. Oh yeah, it was Bubba again. And look at his teammate, same equipment, had to start in the back, had to do a pass-through penalty on lap 1, and was way the hell back. And he drove through the field and finished good. And Bubba didn't get inside the top 20 and just wrecked everything in his path.
Goes back to that statement you made hours or not hours ago, but a while ago in this conversation.
Feels like it.
Checkers are wreckers. Kevin's more to the checker side. Bubba's more to the wrecker side.
Always. Let's get that. Like, what did I say?
I call Ricky Stenthouse Ricky Wrecker, or Wrecker Ricky. Well,
there's a reason we call him Ricky.
Stenthouse is nothing compared to Bubba.
I mean, Recky's only
Bubba's on like Juan Pablo level.
Now, Ricky, I mean, hey, he hasn't hit a jet dryer yet.
I said almost, like he's on that level, just not quite there yet.
And Juan Pablo could at least drive. He was a hothead.
Bubba will be the one to hit the pace car.
Go hit the pace car. Why? You hit everything else. I mean, Days of Thunder was ever a thing. Hit the pace car. What? Well, my friend, you hit everything else out there. Might as well hit the damn pace car. Stay consistent. But Bubba did cause all kinds of hullabaloo. His teammate looked good. Again, what did I tell you? Same equipment. It's desire and driving ability. And Bubba's lost his desire to do any kind of driving. And he's put on like a bunch of weight. It's just, it's just sorry. Like we all loved Bubba back in the day until he started running his suck hole.
He's become the eyesore of NASCAR. That's for sure.
Yeah, like he pissed off everyone just by saying all that, but he looked terrible. Good on Brad, for getting wrecked again. Good job. Good on Denny for somehow missing Brad when he spun out that first time. I still have no idea how he missed him by an inch, but he did it. And moving those cars that rapidly is not that easy at that speed. But Kurt made his way back through there. Kyle, of all people, Kyle Busch stayed level-headed when he was blowing water all over God's creation, had to come into pits, was down a lap, and he stayed calm and got back on the lead lap with 5 to go at that wreck. Kyle Busch of all people, holding his, staying calm while everything sucks. I mean, granted, I didn't listen to his radio, but I've seen him also running like second and just cussing out everything under the sun. Car sucks. You suck. The team sucks. What? Like, dude, you finished second. Yeah, I know you're not first. If you're not first, you might as well be last. I fully understand that. Listen to me while I'm playing video games. Moncala, I hate Moncala. Figured it out. I'm getting better in real life on Moncala, but like he just doesn't like to lose. And
it took me a while to learn that game.
it's just he doesn't like to lose.
No.
That's what you need to be really good at it. But I mean, we really didn't learn a lot. I mean, we saw a lot of spins in the Cup Series, even in qualifying. There are people going, spinning out in these new cars with the tires. And everyone's complaining about the tires. But I mean, they
Not
practice.
thinking about the fact that it's a new car.
Yeah. I mean, the new car doesn't help it again. They run the air pressures, I'm guessing, lower than what Goodyear's. Like, here's the recommended lowers. I bet you they're running well under the recommended low. And between the surface and the speed and the fact that it looks like they're on a trampoline going down the back straightaway, if the tire's getting all that flex on them, like it just always happens there. That's Auto Club Speedway in a nutshell. Like, tires blow left, right, and indifferently. But we did. I mean, it was still like the racing was better. 9 different teams in the top 10. Eric Jones, who we all saw struggles for Petty for the longest time, he was up there the whole time. Suarez was up there the whole time.
Harvick was doing good.
Harvick, hey, he had a good run there at the end, though. I mean, he got up there. Almirola was good. Reddick was running good till the tire thing. However, the hell William Byron, Tyler was going to make it back to the pits until, William Byron made sure he did not make it back to the pits. But he ran a hell of a race. Like, he was up there, like it was very competitive. There's a lot of different teams up there. And that's a good sign for the car, at least. I mean, even with the wrecks, I mean, there weren't too many people that were like out of the race, and there were still a lot of different teams up there.
Sorry for the Wood Brothers. The whole NASCAR head shed saying the cars are definitely better. Yeah, you got no fluids on the ground in these wrecks, but you got 75,000% more parts on the ground.
No. Again, that's what they designed them all for, though. Absorb the impact of the blow. But
you can do that without making it send 60,000 parts on the track.
Hey,
I've seen stock cars on small tracks, half mile, quarter miles, 3/4 mile tracks, and mile tracks, wreck, take hits, and not send 7,000 parts everywhere.
I've seen barrel rolls that
don't send that many parts.
Yeah, so there's
engines
that.
stayed in them.
Yeah, that's how they designed it. But like, sadly, I really don't think we're gonna learn. Like, we're not gonna know anything about the new car until we hit May or so.
Well, who was it a week or so ago said that, I'm trying to think who it was on. It might have been Jeff Burton, actually, that said, doesn't matter right now with the cars the way they are. You could be a veteran or you could be the first year rookie. Anyone can win because the cars are new and they're so different.
Yeah. They're different. And again, we went from a 1/4 mile, still can't believe we're saying that, to 2.5 mile, to the 2 mile, 1.5 mile high banks that they have at Vegas, to the short flat thing in Phoenix. I mean, then we got Bristol dirt in there.
Yep.
Yeah, once we start hitting the Texases, we get to Texas. I don't want to see the race at Atlanta just because I thought they should.
When we get to race 8, then judgments can start getting made.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, like right now they're learning the wheel. Really, I mean, trying to figure it all out because again, it's all so new.
Literally learning the wheel on this car,
the legit wheel. But they're learning like so much about. And again, there's so many different track types right now. They're just trying to figure it out. I hope it stays just as competitive when everyone does figure it out, as NASCAR's supplying a lot more of the parts to everyone and making it, more even, which again, if it makes it more even and we keep having, 9 different teams in the top 10, we're not going to have 9 different teams in the top 10 come June, but they're going to figure it out. But we can still have like 5 different teams in the top 10, like consistently, like that's a step up for competition across the board, which is better for all the teams.
It's if you think about it, 5 different teams in the top 10 is doable. You can have a couple teams with 2 or 3 guys and still have 1 or 2 teams, maybe 1 or 2 guys, and then a team not a big team. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still possible to do that.
Yeah, and I think that'd be better for fans, sponsors, the teams to be making more money off, earnings at the racetrack. So, and so that'll help put money in the coffers to help building everything. Like, I think it could be really good. I just hope these little teams take advantage of it, and they're developing as much as they can with what they're getting right now. Because, again,
they need to, whatever they did
summer,
from the late 80s to the early 90s, whatever that process was for changing things for the better, they should probably step back, look at that, and go, okay, can we apply that process to today? Because they did something right. They exploded. NASCAR was that was probably the most booming era of NASCAR. Like that was the era that NASCAR just like set in stone. They'll be the most known thing forever. Everybody knows what NASCAR is. Doesn't matter who you are, what culture you're in. If you're in America, you know what NASCAR is.
Reminder, like a fucking thing.
keep talking. Okay.
But with that being said, if they were to go back to that process, you might see a huge change in broadcasting stuff too.
Yeah. And I will say shout out to NASCAR for whoever decided that Mark Martin needed to be inside the booth for that race. Oh, I think I have a folder on top of the toaster oven, actually. Yeah, for my surgeries. It should be a blue
Everybody
folder.
loves Mark Martin.
And him being in the booth, I think, is a great thing for the sport and everyone in general, just because he still has that much love and passion. And like, it's what he does. And to have him in the booth, I thought just for that little bit of time was a great add. I do like having the rotating person, because I thought Tony was good in Tony's own way. Him and Clint together, I thought it was going to be much more off the rails train wreck than it was. Because again, it's Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart together. It's, and so that was good. Wait to see what Danica does. I think she'll be good to talk. Like, I think, she does know how to race. It's just, I thought she was another one of those just got thrown to the wolves. Here, ready? Go.
I give Tony props for not just washing her out.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I think he also knew that, like, look, she's really good. Like, she's no slouch. She comes from a really winning background. So,
yeah, I just think they called her up maybe like a year too early. But I mean, you got to get it well. And he did actually, like, in his credit, give her way more time to actually figure it out. And she did progressively get better. It was only a couple spots better, but she got better. It's just, I mean, he gave her
she said after a while she was done. It wasn't it.
Yeah,
which I mean, for her to own that, that's good.
She got lots, and he gave her a lot of years, to figure it out and do all that. It wasn't just, okay, well, that didn't work. See you later. Bye. Granted, she had GoDaddy money coming in, so that probably helped a little bit there. But
she knew what she was doing too, though. She wasn't dumb when it came to racing.
Yeah. She knows what she's doing. Like, I think she gets dumped on a lot more than she should.
A lot of people. I think the only thing negative I've ever really heard about her is people will say that off camera she's the most horrible person in the world. No. People can be assholes, for the lack of a better term, and still be good people. She came from Indy racing, where she was.
She was doing good.
She was at the top levels, like she was there. For her to come to that series and then just be slammed with the best guys of NASCAR right from the gate, that's rough. Like, that's a jump that I'm sure even Mario would be like, well, can I have a season to figure some things out first? Can I understand this car differently?
But he came in the old days and won the Daytona 500.
I'm not going to say he didn't do good. I mean, I would be.
Oh, that's all he did. He won the Daytona 500. What else can you say?
Andretti in racing, just in racing in general, Andretti is to all of racing what Earnhardt is to NASCAR, Petty is to NASCAR, McMillan's is to Baja racing. I mean,
Baja.
Ricky Carmichael. Like, if you have that name, you're probably gonna be pretty Good.
Yeah, it's in your DNA. Like it,
Yeah.
but yeah, she was another one of those. But again, I'm glad. I think it'll be a good, thing for the booth. I'm excited to see who they're going to have, after that, because again, Kenseth was great. Like I wish he still had the beard, but what can I say? Yeah, but
Yeah.
him and seeing and I just I like the rotating thing. No offense to Jeff Gordon, but shaking up the personalities all the time, so it's not the same three voices. It's different perspectives every time.
I have to say though, for them to stick Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer together for that long every time, that was wrong.
That was. I mean,
Those two weren't the greatest of friends on the racetrack ever.
Hey,
so just want to put that out there.
That was the day I realized that Clint Boyer, he's got some cardio down, but he's in a dead sprint.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
who the hell parks on pit road? Clint, no. Helmet's off, window net down. He's running. Oh, no. What? Get him. And then literally goes back into his car, puts everything back on, goes back out on the track. Like, okay, what? Get him out of there. And Clint Boyer, what? He's not known for being the angriest guy on the planet, but god damn, when he gets angry, he literally breaks into a dead sprint.
Yep.
Literally. And that was the greatest thing to ever see in my life. Like, no, he's not. No, he really is. Like, okay.
How often do you ever see a pair of teammates that'll ever be like Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer?
Yeah.
That's a pair of teams. It hurts my heart when he retired. That hurt my heart. But with that being said, I don't think I'll ever see a pair of teammates that way ever again in NASCAR. Nope. That was just a level of friendship that you won't get anywhere.
Man, it really is.
It'd be nice to see it again, though.
Yeah, like it was good. But I think there's a lot to learn again. It's just too early.
Concept. You're talking about booth stuff. I still have to say, was it the quarter-mile race or was it the Daytona race? It was Daytona, I think, where Blake Shelton showed up drunk for 4 minutes. And it was Daytona.
It's Blake Shelton. He does what he wants.
He was drunk and standing there, and he goes, "Well, am I done here? Because I got a cold drink with my name on."
Are we done?
I'm thinking to myself, you're already looking tipsy.
Hey, it's Daytona. Clint would have been right there with him if he didn't have to.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be Clint Boyer and be all professional and on TV. I mean, let him crack a beer. What? Screw it. What? Broadcast booth.
He's not driving.
Now it's getting real. But there was good stuff there. And again, it's
although then again, maybe you wouldn't want him drinking, because if they dialed up Kevin Harvick, I can't guarantee how that conversation would go.
He already sounds like he's drunk when he dials up Kevin Harvick. I mean, think if he actually was. The wheels would fall out.
I would cry.
What's up, buddy? Oh no. Clint, you feeling okay? But he's feeling good. Clint is gone. Wheels have fallen off of Clint's bus. He's now dragging the bus. It was good though. I don't know what to think of. Looking forward, really for the Cup Series. Just more learning for the car. Bubba's going to suck. Neither of the Bushes are going to win because they're from Las Vegas, and Las Vegas hates them. At least the track.
Well, if it's like anything in the past, Kurt Busch will come in second.
and Kyle will spin out, wreck, blow up. I mean, Kyle just has bad luck.
How many times did he come in second in Vegas?
It's like, how many times did Senior have something bad happen at the 500? Put it on the tow truck. Does it still turn over? Yeah. And get it off the damn truck. I hit a seagull. I mean, what anything bad could happen to you to make you not win a race.
Well, what track is it? That's the same way for, I'm trying to think what track it is for Denny Hamlin. I think is it Talladega? I think it might be Talladega. It's one of them tracks. He's like, dude, I'd just rather not come racing.
Hey, I've seen it. Hey, they've all been, but it's Denny, so I'm not nearly as bothered by it.
He's like, I think one year I remember him specifically saying, I'd like to finish this race once
Hey,
on four wheels.
hey, Clint Boyer said this. I believe it was, or no, Elliott Sadler. It's like Talladega. What? I just want to finish one of these things, but well, I see he'd make it to like right at the end, and they just go barrel run. Clint Boyer
I
said
don't
the
think
same
he
thing.
ever finished one yet.
No, I mean, but you got Clint Boyer at Daytona. He said the same. What? I just want to finish one of these on all fours. Yeah. Then you went barrel rolling through the grass on the tri-oval. You finished on all fours. I mean, you were on all fours when it was all said and done. Your car, not so lucky, but you finished it on all fours, buddy. Well, congratulations. But those people that have those tracks, like in Denny of all people, because he's so good at Daytona and drafting. Well,
I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I remember
it's not.
in the late 90s, the early 2000s, there were 7 or 8 drivers. They always had a certain track. It was just like, if they finished it, it was either going to be on their hood or after they've rolled or skidded sideways on their side across the finish line. It's never just rolling, like on all 4 tires rolling across the finish line. It's some form of skid.
Yep, every time. There's people that have those. I always love watching those interviews after. So,
One of my favorite.
Yeah, say after that wreck. Well, yeah, saying that I just want to finish one of these, man. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to finish the damn thing. But I respect that, but I don't care if I win or not. I just want to finish.
I've had races like that before. I just want to finish this without destroying something.
Yeah, I just want to get
Let's
out
try
of here
that
in one piece. I mean, it was like, Kyle wasn't with Busch. It wasn't all of his wrecking last year. But I mean, look at him. He finished like 8th. You know, like, what? Well, this is like a win. Why? It's been like, I don't even care if I win this year. What? I just want to finish good. Like, I'm tired. Let's just.
I want to finish with a hood on my car, maybe a fender or two.
Yeah, I just want to finish the. I just let Kyle Busch
Roughly
is sitting there.
2/3 of my bumper would be cool.
When Kyle Busch is getting to a point in a season where he's, I just want to finish one of the. What, he finishes 8th and he's happy. That's pretty much those guys at restrictor plate tracks. What, I just.
Yep.
All those guys. What do you run? 40th all day. Why?
As a matter of fact, I think it is Denny Hamlin that has numerous times at Talladega said, I'm just going to go sit in the back for about 80% of this race.
I sit in the back to the last 20 laps. And then Recchi will get behind me and all hell will break loose. But hey, Recchi, he's good at restrictor plates. It's just everyone else around him that isn't so lucky. He wrecks everybody. I mean, everybody. Now he has Bubba to do that. He didn't wreck anyone this year, I don't think. As we were all texting, everyone going, "Wow, what? Somehow it hasn't been Recchi." Hell, I think one year at Daytona, he literally caused like 2/3 of the field to not be in the race anymore, causing that many wrecks.
I remember what year it was.
How'd you finish so good? How'd you finish so good? I took out all the competition.
It was 27 cars total got taken out by him in that race.
He caused 2 big ones.
Let me rephrase that. Sorry. They were either taken out of the race or they were enough laps behind that it didn't matter.
Like that was a destructo derby. Well, see Recchi run. Run, Recchi, run.
Ricky and Juan Pablo, them guys, they like to set the bar, and Bubba's trying to encroach it.
And
one thing I can say about Ricky on top of the other guys, at least he's won a lot more shit.
He's won something. No offense to Juan Pablo.
Shit.
You won on road courses. We all expected you to be good on road courses. Where else did you win? You won the grand prize for taking out the jet dryer. Here's the watcher. What the hell was that?
The other guys that for a few years it was just like, oh, it's a road course. Yep. Not even gonna watch it. Know who's winning that one? Robbie Gordon. That's who it was.
Oh, Robbie was good.
I quit watching it because it was almost one of those things where it's like Robbie Gordon's probably gonna win it. Or
so Robbie was always up there. It's just, well, something bad always happened to Robbie.
He was good though at road courses. You want to talk about a talented road course?
Hell, look at, it's like Wally Dallenbach. Like Wally did the wall and back. What did he do on ovals? Nothing good, but you can tell those guys that can drive because put them on a road course. Now, granted, everyone's a lot better at road courses. There's more of an emphasis on it. It's not like the ringers aren't coming out anymore and just slaughtering the field, but yeah, we're not gonna have
I mean, there
Boris
for a
set
long
anymore.
time. Who was it? It was Gordon. Robbie Gordon was good.
Jeff was good. Tony was
Jeff
good.
Gordon was good. Tony Stewart. Kurt Busch has always been pretty decent, if not good, at road courses. Most definitely, he's talented when it comes to road
Kyle
courses.
Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle's good. Logano's
Larson
good.
is pretty decent.
He's stepped up his game. Logano.
Kevin
Logano's normally
Harvick should
pretty
just
good.
not go to road courses. They're not his friend at
By
all.
the way, NASCAR, we go back to Coda. If it's torrentially downpouring, how about we just don't have them run this time? Because we've all seen the in-car of that wreck from Kevin. What? There was no blinky light in front of him from that car. There was no what? Suddenly there was just car. Went from 0 to kaboom real fast. And there you go. I don't even know why the hell we're out there. Well, coming from you makes sense.
I'm saying stuff.
I don't know what the hell. Okay, what? Like blinky light so they could see anything. What? You didn't see the blinky light until the blinky light was literally this far away from his face because you.
Well, I mean, you gotta remember, I watched his in-car camera when he's got races going. There was no view like that. It
There was no
literally,
visibility.
he might have had 12 foot, but 12 foot coming from 130 to 50, maybe. Not saying it, and you got 12 foot, you're not stopping. I'm sorry. It's going to be a cruncher.
The big cruncher. If you haven't seen it, look up his in-car, that wreck from Coda last year. That just went from he's going. Oh no.
It was rough. That was
Your first time at Coda, and that's what you guys give us.
that accident was like the one I seen last week when I went to the VA. Right there in front of the airport. Same way. It was like, I don't know why, but a Mountaineer pulled up in front of a Taurus. Or not a Taurus, an Impala. And I think the Impala might have had 18 feet to stop from 50 to 0. It wasn't happening.
You're physically
That
incapable.
car literally crunched the whole front end up to the end of the fender and went up over the opposite side of all the way across the road, up over the 4 lanes, up over the curb, came back down off the hill over the curb, back across all the lanes and stopped the curb back on the airport side of the road. Nobody was moving.
Sound like
So
a
I
Jackson.
instantly blocked. No, I was in Battle Creek.
I'll say it sounds like a Jacksonville accent. You're sitting there looking at it going,
Well, I blocked the road because it was bad. Like I knew that if those people lived, they were lucky. It was bad.
you call the VA, be like, what? I think I'm going to be a tad bit late.
Well, no,
Like, why?
I was
Look outside.
I was early anyways. And then I'm like, I seen it, I stopped, and the cops showed up. I've been at this point 20 minutes standing there directing cars on probably one of the busiest roads in Battle Creek. Keep in mind that. And finally a cop shows up to take my place. And I'm like, can you, before you take my place, like move your car back 8 feet? Because I'm about to spin out and take off like a bat out of hell when I leave here. He goes, whoa. I went, no, I have to. I'm about to have surgery on my toe in about 13 minutes. I might not make it.
I got things to do.
And he says, oh yeah, he said, get out of here. Get on Dodge. Go. Get. I was gone.
You know, thankfully the police were all preoccupied. But
Well, those cops over there, I know most of the cops in Calhoun County. Different story here.
but anyway, those wrecks were, but yeah, I think it'll
Those
be a
wrecks
good
when you know it's not going to be good.
anytime we're at Daytona or Talladega.
I hate seeing a
Close
car
your
go right at Talladega. God, I hate seeing a car go right at Talladega.
And now with all this, like the new car, what they're going airborne if someone touches them. Go sideways by
clear.
yourself,
That is
fine.
clear.
Someone touches you while you're sideways, you're
It's over.
look, he's flying. Yeah, I'd never even fully watched the other guys, but I do know that much. Well, he's going up, and it's going to be terribly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this
First feeling
weekend.
of that though has got to be when you're upside down. I mean, never wrecked a car like that, but I've wrecked a snowmobile like that. And when I was upside down, I was like, this is fixing to suck.
Just don't clench your neck. Don't clench
So every
anything.
single one of those
It'll be
guys
okay.
that, you know what, I will have to give Austin Dillon a little bit of props in my life right here. This is the one time I'm going to do it. When he went up in the air, I'm sure at that moment when he was upside down, he was going, this isn't going to be good. This is going to,
You're sitting there holding the wheel, just
another thing. When you get to a certain degree, you don't hold the wheel no more. You let go and you grab your harness.
Yeah.
I've learned that.
But yeah, I do love watching him. You see the in-cars. By the time they get over, I mean, granted, the in-car goes from they're perfectly fine to they're in the air in about a second and a half. So you don't have the time to react yet to let go of your steering wheel. Just that initial. Yep. And you're sitting there, wonder what's going through his head right now.
Right while your hands there, you're like, oh shit. This is gonna suck.
Probably doesn't even realize what's happening. Well, you're already about to be hit on the ground before your body can actually react going, uh-oh. What? Uh-oh.
Exactly.
I don't like uh-oh. Well, a whole lot of uh-oh.
I don't know though, man. You watch guys like Martin Truex or Matty D, when they wreck, they don't let go of the steering wheel. And every time I've ever watched them wreck, I'm looking at the wheel going, why won't you let?
Hey,
lose an arm one of these times, you're going to regret that.
The new steering system, they changed all that up. So it'll be less thumb breaking. We'll see. But, thankfully, there's not too many old dogs left anymore. So we don't have to worry about seeing it as much. But yeah, that was good. That was stuff.
Kevin does something, but outside of them two, there's no one that does it every time. But those two, Martin Truex and Matty D, they wreck. They're going to do everything they can not to put that car into a wall, whether it's to the right or the left. They don't care. And I've seen Chase Briscoe do it a couple times too since he went to the Cup Series. He's another one that he don't like putting a car in the wall. Rather blow them tires to pieces than go on the wall.
Hey, if you can save it though, I mean, everyone loves the big plumes of smoke. Like Brandon Jones when he went towards those sand barrels last weekend at Auto Club, the Xfinity race. What did you see the amount? What he hammered it? Please God, please! What he did everything in his power. He was trying. He was trying.
I get it completely.
Go.
Probably shouldn't be talking about the whole steering wheel thing because I'm one of those guys that would probably hold the steering wheel and try to correct it. So I should probably shut up.
Well, hey, and got to save those cars. But overall, it'll be a good weekend. It was a good weekend of racing. And again, go on FS2 and FS1, CBS Sports. Go on them. You'll find the Prix series, Prix series, SnoCross.
Yeah, Direct TV. You can go to the search bar on Guide, or not on Guide, but you can actually go to the search bar and just type in sports, and every single one of the racing series will show up.
Hulu, you can go down through the TV thing, go down to racing, and it'll pull it all up. Like sport, auto racing, boom. Yeah. They're all there. It's very easy. But again, they're all on weird channels, so you have to do that. And that's how I found
some of them. Series, I've learned some of the rally stuff when they're over in Africa or any of the rally stuff over there. I end up usually having to record that because it's on at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, don't worry. My DVR is never ending. It's never ending. What I don't. What are you doing today? Getting a hand cramp. That's what I'm doing today. Lots of them.
I wish one thing's for sure. I wish NASCAR would just stay on Fox.
Too many. And think if it stayed on Fox, we never would have had a lady in that fire suit running up to Brandon Brown last year at Talladega. And none of that thing would have ever happened. There would be no let's spin it, because there's no way in hell you thought they were saying what she said they were saying. You're listening going, like, no, well, no, you could have just left that alone. But
That's
no,
beyond the level of stupid.
like, you're going to go and try to save it. What? But Fox wouldn't. Yeah, woo. Yeah, save it,
Sorry,
save it,
but the
save
F
it.
word and let's don't rhyme
Nope.
at all.
They're not even in the
So-
same stratosphere, but I don't like
Starting on
I
the first word, she's off.
I think there's way too many commercials and just idiocy. I do
Well,
like Junior in the booth. I think Junior in the booth is
That's
a
all I was
good
gonna
thing.
say. There's only two people that I can stand and bear and actually like to see when it's on NBC. The rest of the people involved with broadcasting, all the commentating and everything, it's like, I wish you'd shut up. Just don't talk no more.
Rick Allen has
Stand
the
there,
job. Yeah.
nod your head, say yes, no, oh, I agree, but just leave everything else alone.
Rick Allen, he has the voice. That's why he has that job. I
Yeah.
like Junior, but again, we can have a dream as long as we still get to keep Clint, because half the time you really don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. Still to this day,
Yeah,
he's
that
still
he's
very much Clint Blair.
wild card when it comes to
Just
commentating.
let him be Clint. Okay. I mean, so good week overall, though. A lot of good stuff coming up this weekend. Again, search all the racing. Just look it all up. If you have a DVR, I apologize now, but you never know. Can light a passion in you, your kids, anyone could be like, ooh, and like it, and then you can have something to bond over.
Kids do tend to like
Fantastic.
Supercross. I think
Who
it's more
doesn't?
action packed for them.
Who doesn't? Those guys are all over the place, and it's something they could physically do. Seeing the little kids that are like this tall on their little electric bikes. I mean, when they're racing on those big tracks, it's funniest thing
That's
ever.
one of the things I like about Supercross is when you go to a Supercross event, and that can be from Anaheim to Rochester to Manila to Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch in Tennessee. I mean, it can be anywhere. Daytona.
Dude.
You will see everything from kids to ages 4, 5, and 6 to elderly people out there racing. I mean, it's always an event that's worth watching.
Yep. Super good stuff to watch. So make
If
sure
you ever
you
go
do
to one in
that.
person, it's worth the event.
Oh, I want to go. I just have to wait till they come anywhere near me.
If you
No
could,
offense.
you want to do something like Manila. I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't. Anaheim is where they do the championship, but it's not worth it to me. Unless I was racing in that championship, I would not want to be there. But like going to Loretta Lynn's or Manila or Red Bud, which that one is actually in Michigan. There's another one over in Minnesota that they do for GNCC racing. It's not Supercross, but GNCC, and that one's great. And when they do the cross country races for dirt bikes and stuff, beautiful races, and they're just like NASCAR. It's family oriented, but there's so much more family orientation in Supercross.
Yep.
Than that. So
They can let everyone do it. So that's a good.
that's another reason why
ending
mini
point.
sprints are so good.
Yeah, I'll tell you, local tracks, even if it's not Supercross, but regardless, TV, watch stuff, record stuff. You can find it. You can find a passion in you, a little person, whatever.
Or just get out and support your local racetrack. So go to your local racetrack, watch a series. You might find something you really can't live without again.
Yeah. And then tell us about it. But I'm going to jump off at that because that was a good ending point on a positive note. Bubba sucks. There you go.
Later.
So follow on all the platforms, Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Videos with Walter on here will be on the Facebook page, but I post all the stuff I do on my own. That still goes on YouTube and Rumble. So make sure you check those out and follow along. Travis, we didn't mention you, so you're welcome. Oops. And I'll be back next week with 6 pages worth of racing, because that's literally all I do anymore. I'm either watching racing or wrestling or nuclear power plants getting shelled, but that's a whole nother topic. So
God bless Ukraine.
and Be good to each other. Enjoy the weekend. And until whenever I'm back. Peace.